up. Fired up. Here we go.
Let's go.
Back in the winner's lounge. Got my Fresca.
Winners win.
Oh, yeah.
Winners win, baby.
It was the moment of the night when I saw my Fresca in the fridge. I was like, oh my God. Fantastic. Then there was the Nuggets game. That was the second thing.
I'm uncomfortable with the amount of times that Fresca gets mentioned in my lifetime.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another Winner's Lounge. Getting comfortable here.
This
is getting so comfortable.
Old hand, dude.
This is an old hat or an old hand?
This is what we do.
What is the expression?
I think it's old hat.
I think it is old hat, too.
I don't think that, like,
You
I
made me
think an
second
old
guess, though.
hand comes with an old body.
I was
like the
old
stranger.
fart. Like an older person.
Just an old, like, it's so comfortable. It's like the old hand connected to that older person.
What? This show's going to be terrible.
You're a horrible at catchphrases. I know it. I just know it. You just make things
The
up.
Nuggets get the win over the Magics, and I got Superstar Dev in the house with me.
I mean, it wasn't pretty. I'll tell you that. It wasn't pretty, but a win is a win, and the Nuggets need as many as they can get before the All-Star break, and then they can calm down.
They got 32 of them now. I mean, that's kind of a lot. That's not too bad. 32 and 25, not a bad record. Straight from Ball Arena. You might have heard him screaming at the top of his
That's
lungs,
right.
but he hurried over here to join us.
That's right.
D-line.
If you heard anybody being told they sucked on the broadcast, that was me. And if you almost got run over, also me.
Really? You were rushing out
doing
of there,
everything,
were you?
huh?
I would say
Pedestrians be damned.
I would say that I was somewhere in between unsafe and very unsafe.
Man, I'm going to call the police.
Well, you're here. That's all we can ask for. The
Self-incriminating.
Nuggets get a win, as you mentioned. It wasn't necessarily the prettiest, the most fun game. It's one of those games. It's hard to actually. It's hard for this game to be good, honestly. When you're supposed to win, I mean, the line was 10.5, right? They won by 10. Like that happened just how it was supposed to. But you know, you always get that sense of they should blow them out. They should be a little bit bigger. And this one always felt like it was like one fumble away from getting closer than it needed to be. Which brings us to, guys, you ready for the recap? The 2-minute recap. I've upped it to 2 minutes.
2 minutes?
Yeah, I got 2 minutes. It's too
Jesus.
hard. It's too hard.
30
to go.
seconds per quarter?
Well, I'm not going to break it up that way. Maybe I'll be faster. You could time me personally if
All
you
right,
want.
ready? I'm going to ready go. 1.
Guys,
Two.
So again, recap the game. It was a really sloppy start for both teams. If you remember the first 3-4 minutes of this game, it was like 5-6. It was really ugly. You're like, wow, we're in for a bad one. Jokic airballed a 3.
Yep.
Then he almost airballed a 3.
Yep.
And then he hit the 3. And I swear to God, it was when he hit that second 3 that the floodgates opened for Denver. They started smacking the hell out of him. Bryn Forbes comes in with the bench on fire. The Nuggets bench actually was rolling. It was 29-14 after one quarter. Denver was absolutely crushing it. The bench was on fire. Facu hit a 3. Boogie hit a 3. Bryn Forbes hit a 3. JMyke Green hit a 3. Everybody was a party. But then right before they were supposed to check out, they let the Magic go on an 8-0 run. It was crazy because the Nuggets were like up big. And then that bench checks out. They were only a +3 because they blew it all. This is what the bench always does. They blow it all in one run. And they gave up an 8-0 run, kind of negated it a little bit. Starters fell into a rut. I thought Bones had his roughest quarter in the second quarter, and the Nuggets take just a 53-40 lead again, just 13-point lead. It's like, felt like they should be up 20. Third quarter, back and forth a little bit. Felt like it might become a little bit annoying, but then you get a Jeff Green flurry. He had a good game tonight. Almost all of his points came in a row in that third quarter, stabilized things. Forbes hit a buzzer beater at the end of the third quarter to give Nuggets a 15-point lead, which made it feel like, okay, we're safe. Boogie in the bench opened up a 21-point lead. The second time, they got up 22 times. Once in the second quarter, once in the fourth quarter. But they couldn't quite close the game. They let him get back. Jokic comes back in. Lead keeps going down. And you almost feel like Denver held on to a 10-point lead. Not that they, skated to a 10-point lead. They held on to a 10-point lead. But whatever. They got the win. How was that recap? Did I miss anything?
Dude.
It was a minute and 43 seconds.
Oh, minute 43.
Under the buzzer.
Having been at the game, I felt like I was right back there listening to that recap.
Is that right?
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
The only thing you missed was when Lindsay and I got a bucket of popcorn, and then she spilled her peanut M&Ms all over the ground.
Wow.
Oh,
yeah, I
man.
did
The only
miss
part
that
that you
detail. I'm
missed.
sorry.
I
did
could
miss
see her
that
doing
one.
that type of thing, too.
That's so classic.
Yeah,
classic Lindsay.
classic.
Yeah, this wasn't a great game, but nonetheless, there were some interesting things that happened in it. And I'll start with you, Deb. What's your big takeaway from this one?
My big takeaway is that second unit, showing glimpses. They're not playing really good right now, but they're also not playing bad. But you can see what they can be and how good the Nuggets can be when they're playing pretty well. Granted, it is against the Orlando Magic, and their second unit is not great. They're not as good as a team, actually. But when you really do get to see how like how complete a team could be when they start showing those glimpses, and we got to see that in this game. Guys in that second unit got things going. Having Boogie Cousins in the second unit, he goes out of the game with like a standing ovation, like that just kind of caps off his 10-day contract. Like they're starting to get things rolling, and the Nuggets are winning when they play well.
Yeah, Dan. My big takeaway was that the Nuggets like just beat the team like they were supposed to. Like they just took care of business, which is great. Like that's not something that we've always been able to rely upon this season. Like they don't, like it's never a sure thing with the Nuggets, right? Like they lost to this very same Orlando squad in Orlando, which I believe like was one of the lowest moments of the season.
Yeah.
And tonight, like it was just it was no doubt like that after that first little slow start that you were talking about. Jokic missed some shots. Once the floodgate opened, it was like I was like, "What is this a game? What are we watching?"
Right.
Like they were just smacking them, and
Orlando was really bad in that first quarter. I mean, they're not
so
good, but
bad.
that first quarter was like almost pathetic. You're
was.
watching, you're just kind of like, they had turnovers where Orlando had these turnovers where they would pass it across the court directly to a Nuggets player, where you would thought they were like passing to them.
Dude, they passed it to Michael Malone one time.
Yeah, they did pass it to Michael
It was
Malone
bad.
one time.
Like Lindsay and I were just laughing.
Yeah, they're really bad. I mean, it is hard. Look, I do think these games are hard for teams. Like, 29-14 in the first quarter, it's hard to be like, man, this team's not gonna beat us. And I know they beat them the last time, so you do kind of always have that in the back of your head. But they were so bad that I think it's hard for you to just be in like attack mode, like battle mode, when you're like, man, what's going on here? So that's definitely part of it. I want to go back to your point, Deb, because I actually think I don't know that there's one big takeaway from this game. I think there's some little takeaway. Like, if you have big takeaways from this game, you might need to reevaluate things. But one of the main takeaways I have is that Denver Nuggets second unit with DeMarcus Cousins. By the way, now what are we up to? 7-0?
7-0, baby.
7-0 with DeMarcus Cousins. Yes, it was, a bunch of bad teams. There it is. Oh, look at that. The DraftKings Sportsbook king of the game. 9 points, 5 rebounds, best game as a Nugget. Could have easily, I know some people are going to be like, Jokic had 26, 15, 7. Yeah, Jokic was, but he also shot 10 of 26. Jokic had a weird game. We'll get to him later. But DeMarcus Cousins, just the imprint he has on that second unit in this game, I thought was as loud as almost any of them. And I put this on Twitter. We actually talked about it, I think, in the last Winners Lounge. For me, his passing and play, like the number one thing is his size. He's just a big body. He puts pressure, rebounds, puts pressure on the paint. But aside from that, it really is that he just is another guy that can do things. Like Zeke Naji, we know, explored his game. Nothing there. 3-point defense, right? He catches the ball. He's not making anything out of it. JaMychal Green, more or less the same thing. Like, you're not asking him to create. Boogie kind of creates. He attacks closeouts with the dribble. He gets position on the elbow and is able to rip through or go to the rim, and then he can just pass in unique ways. So to me, that's really where his shooting hasn't caught up. Although tonight, what did he shoot? 3 of 6. So, okay, not bad.
Yeah.
Only missed 3-pointers. So his shooting is still a little bit like he's not quite scoring like we remember. But just the fact that he is another guy that has talent besides just shooting, I think is what really helps that second unit.
Yeah, I think also like we're starting to see him feel a little bit more in shape. Like he
looked skinny tonight.
He looked like less encumbered as he was running. Like he looked like he was not just lumbering through and like trying to make it through. Like he was actually, in the flow of the game and like was able to, like you're talking about, not only make opportunities for others, but drive to the basket a couple make some cuts. Like there was like one dunk that was like a big momentum changer, that 3-pointer he made. I mean, he just seemed, the last couple games that he was so like almost comically inept offensively that we just like wrote off the idea of him even adding to the offensive side. But my God, like if he can score 9 points a night,
right?
Like
9 points is actually good for a bench player. Like 9 points in 12 minutes is really good.
Yes.
Yeah, with Boogie Cousins, like the biggest thing about him and the word for him is impactful. Like he just makes an impact every single time that he's on the floor, and it doesn't matter how he does it. Like he's such a versatile big man. Like he could grab the rebound and start the break, and they trust in him to start the break. Guys just run with him. He grabs the board, sets hard screens, goes right back up with it. In this one, you could tell he was just like feeling better. Like he looks a little bit more healthy. He's running faster. He's battling on the boards. He had a finish today that I just did not expect him to do because he hasn't been finishing well. And then he also steps out and hits the 3-ball. So you got a little bit of everything with Boogie. And also he does the things that he's always done. He's going to be the bully that like knocks guys down. He's going to get those hard fouls that make you second guess if you want to go in there and try to do it again. He's going to pull people down so that like they have to think twice before they go in and just try to grab a board. So like he gives you a little bit of everything, and I think that's why he's so impactful, because you just don't know what to expect from him. You look at that second unit. JMyke Green is still out there again, low skill type player. You have Bryn Forbes, a guy who can shoot, but he's not. He has a little bit of a floater, but he's also not collapsing defenses and like this or that. So you got two guys there that are just kind of straight floor spacers. Austin Rivers, not really a creator. I mean, he has his one-on-one moves that he likes to go to, and he'll get them every now and then, but he's not another guy that you're kind of like, hey, create something here. So that's three guys. So you're really looking at Facu and now Boogie, and I honestly think that's it. Just like having another guy on there that can make something out of nothing. Like if you have a small advantage, do they take advantage of it even more? And DeMarcus has been that guy. I will say this. The Nuggets have one more game, the Warriors game, and then his 10-day will expire. I kind of feel like DeMarcus Cousins now. I'm over the hump with him in that I feel like he's part of the team. Yeah. And it would feel weird if he was not on the team after the All-Star break.
It would be stupid.
It would be stupid as well. That's another word.
You know what I mean? Like,
it
was just like, what are we doing? Like,
well, I will say this. Part of why he played these last two games, maybe it isn't, but Zeke Naji wasn't there. There was no decision for Michael Malone. I think when everybody's back, I still think Boogie plays, but I don't know, man.
All I know is that we've won every game he's played.
That is
and
true.
like this is not the first time we've talked about how he makes the second unit make sense, because he provides something even just physically that they didn't have. Every time that they get blown out, it's like when you just have like the little lineup of the three guards and nobody can quite rebound, nobody's making shots, nobody's setting like effective picks. Like Boogie just does that. He just he just brings order to that second unit. If they didn't what else would they do?
Are you at peace with DeMarcus Cousins, the Denver Nugget? I'm asking you because I know you were like, you weren't exactly thrilled about having to root for Boogie, but are you there now?
I am very conflicted with cheering for Boogie. I'm very comfortable cheering for DeMarcus. DeMarcus, well, it's like you know what I mean. Like nobody likes D-line, but some people like Eric. You know what I mean? Like
now I get it. Now I get it. It all makes sense.
Wow, you are such a poet. Sometimes I'm like, I forget that you are just.
Yeah, I'm like, I listen. I get it. But he's been like, the thing is about Boogie is that he has been humbled in such dramatic ways in his life, and so it's not the same like guy that. I mean, like the reason we didn't like Boogie is because he was so. Like confrontational with Jokic. He was such a dick to Jokic specifically. And like if anybody is a dick to Jokic, like
you hate him.
Got an issue.
You hate
got
him.
a goddamn problem.
It's
now.
so true.
Nurkic.
Who else?
Nurkic.
Yeah, but who else? Like who has conflicts with Jokic?
The Morris brothers.
Yeah,
like,
dude, nobody likes the Morris brothers though.
Yeah,
that's what's
why?
Funny.
Why?
Because they against Jokic.
Messed with Jokic because they joked around and found out. That's why.
They joked around and found out. How do you feel? Is DeMarcus Cousins in your head? Is he a Nugget now?
I'd say yes, on the simple fact that we know that Michael Malone really likes Boogie Cousins, and the fact that they went 7-0 with him playing just gives him more initiative and more ammo to say, hey, this is the guy that helped us out.
Right.
Rather if it's true or not, he wants to throw his guy a bone, and now he has stats to back it up. When he plays, we win. Right. Why not, keep that for the entire year? Also, there is a scapegoat or just a insurance valve for Zeke. Like Zeke hasn't been playing. You don't know what you're going to get from Jeff Green. You need a backup center. This is, a backup center that the team gets along with or just understands how he plays. And also, you're not going to have to, pay him a lot of money. Like you just get him there and you just have a guy. And there's not many other centers that are just sitting around right now that you could go and get. That's the reason they went and signed him right now. They just, switched Davon Reed into a full-year contract. He hasn't played in a while. have we talked about if he's hurt or what? Like,
no, he's not. I don't
they've
think.
been playing Cousins. Like, they want him to be the guy. And we were all just clamoring for how much we wanted Davon Reed to play. And we haven't mentioned him.
Davon Reed's on the two-way, though, right?
Yeah. So he can play, though.
Right.
Sure. So, like, Cousins is actually playing meaningful minutes on a 10-day. And they keep on finding, like, creative ways to keep him around the team. That, like, happens for a guy they want to keep around. And we've seen that with Davon Reed. You've seen that with Torrey Craig. You've seen that in the past. So, like, the guys that they give a long run, they stick with the team. The Nuggets don't get rid of guys. They just don't. And Boogie Cousins makes sense because they win with him.
Yeah. I do anticipate, I mean, who knows, but I do anticipate that the team will probably offer him a more long-term deal after this All-Star break. I imagine they wanted to get through this, kind of give as long of a look. I don't think they wanted to make a quick decision. They wanted to get a long of a look, see how he responded physically, mentally, emotionally, all those different things. And look, this was his best game. In my opinion, this was probably his best game. And
no question.
And so it's like you kind of see the improvement with him. You go to the record, as you pointed out. Yes, they were a lot of bad teams, although the Toronto one sticks out as a very good one. But hey, when have we been able to say Denver went 6-0 against bad teams? So even that stands out as something. So
even though you said, and you were right, that if you have a big takeaway from this game, you have a problem. I have a problem in that the fact that they just beat the team that they're supposed to beat.
Right.
Like that means something.
And also, when you talk about making sense, like the second you starts to make sense, JaMychal Green tonight, 7 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block. That's the numbers you kind of expect from JaMychal Green. Like those, and we've seen that a little bit lately with him. Same with Zeke Naji goes into that power forward role. So I do feel like he unlocks a lot of different players with that second unit. Man, I just realized I'm going to have to do ad reads tonight. My God. I can't believe it.
I like that your mind is, it's just like looking to, you're like Cassandra. You know the future, but you're powerless.
I can't believe they did me like this. Why don't you guys talk about JaMychal Green here while I pull up my ads?
What do you want to talk about for JaMychal Green? your thoughts? I like that he. Nope, I don't really have
you guys couldn't even do it. For 1 second.
I like the fact that he really did crash the boards today. Like, I really do think that having, bullies on the team and Boogie Cousins and also Jeff Green and JaMychal Green as well. And then you already have Yoke, who's just, one of the bigger guys in the league that you're just not going to get the best of. Having that many guys at that position and also in the second unit, really with both units, like all times that he played, he was a guy that was like making things happen with the crashing of the boards. Yeah. You're not going to get a lot of scoring from. You're not getting the shots being made, but he's giving you effort, and that effort like is helping like give extra possessions. It's helping with like guys not being able to get second chance opportunity on the other end. So I don't have a lot on him, but the boards just like stand out.
Monster dunk.
Yeah, he had that one monster dunk, and then he like grabbed the ball and put it on the ground, ran away. I was like,
he definitely like he's a guy that likes when it gets chippy. Like he tries to look for ways to like make things chippy.
Dude, JaMychal Green is like so peaceful, but his fucking toggle switch is like
it's very, very
once
quick.
Once it gets flicked, you're like, oh God.
But I feel like he's one of those guys that needs it. Like I don't like he's always looking for to bump into someone to be like, hey, you bumped into me. It's like no, you bumped into me. Guys, haven't been able to watch the Nuggets or Avalanche for a while, right? We've all been talking about this. Comcast, those SOBs. They've made it so difficult, so expensive, and then obviously impossible. But guess what?
What? Are you telling me there's some workaround to corporate collusion?
There is Avaca TV.
Let's
People have been me saying, why aren't the Nuggets on TV? Guys, that's an old narrative. Avaca TV, brand new company. Totally new paradigm for TV delivery that is less expensive, more efficient, and offers a superior picture than legacy providers. Services include, yes, you heard it right, Altitude Sports and other national channels. Avaca TV is growing constantly and adding new channels to their lineup. The service is now available in Denver, Colorado Springs, Phoenix, Boise, Twin Falls, Idaho. In Denver, Avaca TV uses next-gen broadcast technology, which allows for a vibrant picture quality using far less bandwidth than streaming services. Using an antenna and Avaca's smart receiver, customers in the Denver area can access next-gen broadcasts on ABC, NBC, Fox, CW, and of course, most important of all, Altitude Sports, which allows you to watch the Nuggets, the Avs, the Rapids. and many more.
It's literally the only channel you need.
It really is. And this is what's so great about them. It's only $25 per month plus the receiver. So if you go to evoca.tv/DNVR, that's evoca.tv/DNVR, you get $25 a month. Boom, you've got your solution. No more illegally streaming, being 3 minutes behind. You're on Twitter.
You're right.
Open up Twitter, you already see what happened. It ruins the entire experience. Instead, you can do this. No contracts, no hidden fees. Price is locked in for 2 years.
Holy smokes.
Best of all, COO of Evoca TV, Colorado College basketball player grad. She was a beast, man. She was awesome.
What?
So
I still think the best part is that you can watch the Nuggets. But
nope.
Okay.
You missed it. You missed it. Breckenridge Brewery is the official beer of DNVR. You guys know that we have seltzers at the bar. I recommend the Honeydew.
I was asked this recently.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me on. I don't remember what. Anyway,
Melon also good.
They asked me which was my favorite flavor. Is it honeydew? And I was like, no grown man would profess to be a honeydew man.
This is
except
so
for
wrong.
Adam.
This is so wrong. You are so insecure. Me, I am extremely secure. It doesn't matter which fruit flavor I prefer in my seltzer.
A honeydew, dude. Honeydew is the worst food item.
Is this a real take of yours?
Yes.
All right.
I find honeydew to be filler in every instance.
I think
In a fruit salad, filler.
I think it's
as
fantastic.
a melon, filler. As on Earth, a filler.
Well, you should try. You should try something a little bit better.
Peach,
You guys
baby.
also know the Mile High City Copper Lager, the Denver Nuggets canned themed beer, fantastic. You can also go down to the farmhouse. They have great wings down at the farmhouse. They have really good food. Like you go there, they got the charcuterie board, which I'm always a big fan of. It's like kind of like fancy bar food.
Adam's
Pretty
a
nice.
honeydew / charcuterie guy.
He's
I'm
all
a big
about
charcuterie.
charcuterie.
You guys, you were about it too, right?
No.
You don't like a charcuterie board?
No.
Are you guys kidding me? You guys are not classy people. Kale, tell me you're with me on a
dude,
charcuterie
Kale,
board.
dude,
Yeah,
Kale.
I knew you would love it.
I knew he would love it.
Do you just understand who you just made an alliance
Hey, I
with?
don't mind. Yeah, my homie Kale.
He asked me.
Quit saying bad things
Yeah,
about him.
shocked and then
Come by
asked
the
Kale.
DNVR Bar on tap. What do we have? Strawberry Sky, Avalanche Amber, Vanilla Porter Juniors, Mile High City Copper Lager. We got all kinds of the Breck brews. I think we have 8 in
Vanilla
total.
Porter Juniors.
Vanilla Porter Juniors still on tap.
I know, dude.
you would never guess it. So check them out. All right, back here, segment 2. Let's get back into this Nuggets game. Anybody else from the bench that you feel? I mean, I do. Bryn Forbes deserves a mention. 3 of 4 from the 3-point line. We've talked about this a little bit before about other players and how they're like Bones Hyland. Those threes, they add up. 3-pointers in general. This is why Golden State is always up 20 points.
Three more than two.
Yeah, but they also just add up quick. Like 2 threes in a row, 6-0 run. It's just like it starts to compound. And Bryn Forbes checked into that game, hits 2 shots in a row, comes into the second quarter, hits another shot. So 3 between the end of the first, start of the second. And next thing you know, Nuggets are up 20. Bryn Forbes, when he makes shots, his value is enormous.
Yeah, and this game was like a little bit different that we've seen from him. We've seen him running off of like picks. We've seen him like moving a lot more instead of just straight trying to create and things like that. Like I felt like they ran plays for him to get open. And also we saw a few just knockdown shots. Like he did a little bit of everything. But I think it was great to see them run the offense through him or just to try to find a way to make sure they got him the ball. And he knocked it down. Like the confidence is getting there. You could tell like that he's feeling a lot more comfortable because he's letting it fly. And I felt like a little bit like to begin, he was shooting it still, but also he was turning things down to prove I'm not only a shooter. I think he's starting
only
to be
a shooter, though.
I think he's starting to come around to the fact that he is only a shooter,
all
and
they
that's
need.
okay.
That's all they need.
And that is okay. That is the reason you are still in this league. So for him to like just light it up for 16 without like taking every single shot and not being the focal point of the offense, it's going to be good to see him like continue that. And also that was with the second unit. They didn't even see him with the starters and things like that. So really good night for him. And hopefully we see more of that, or at least like in sets where he could just make plays happen.
But you know, because I agree with you, but I think there's another aspect here, and you can tell me if you think I'm right about this. I think that second unit is just gaining chemistry. I mean, honestly, they haven't played together before. Now they have like 7 games together, and I feel like a lot tonight was the team just kind of knowing Bryn Forbes a little bit better and him knowing them better, and he was getting shots off of pin downs more comfortably and like open. So I think some of this is just chemistry, and you're right. He's just the shooter. That's all he needs to be.
Yeah, it was cool because Lindsay is like follows the Nuggets sorta, but she doesn't know all the storylines. So like she's like, "Who's that?" And I was like, "Well, that's Bryn Forbes. He's a great shooter." And then he like made all of his shots. I was like, "See, it's just like it's what he does."
Yeah.
He doesn't normally do that, but he
Yeah,
was great
he
tonight.
doesn't
Like he looked like really comfortable. He wasn't forcing anything. He hit the floater, the threes. I mean, that tonight is exactly what they were hoping to get when they made the trade for Bryn Forbes. Like that microwave type scoring on the bench, especially if you have Bones in the starting lineup. Bones, I think, is like probably more often than not going to be that microwave scorer type, but it's always good to have more than one of those guys in case one of them is having an off night, right? So I mean, it's cool. He looked great tonight, Bryn.
Yeah. Let's go to the starters now, and I actually want to start with Bones Hyland because we now have is it a 3-game sample size now with him? Yeah, 3-game sample size with him as a starter. Tonight he was a game-high plus 13. Played in 29 minutes. He goes 3 of 6 from the three-point line, 4 of 7 overall. 14 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. He had the rough second stint. He plays 4 stints, first, second, third, fourth quarters. He had the rough second stint. I thought the other 3 were very good, and I think that he is starting to play more confidently, and just this experience is so valuable for him. We've been clamoring for it all year, but I honestly believe he is making a little bit, I don't want to call it a leap because it's all talents that he had, but those talents are starting to be unlocked a little bit more, and the team's trust in him is getting a little bit stronger. And now you look at it, like him taking a 3 is honestly one of my favorite plays. I'm like, hey, if you're open, man, take it, because that's like a great outcome for Denver. Dev, how do you evaluate Bones Hyland now 3 games into this?
I mean, they always say that things happen for a reason, and like it's perfect timing, which you don't root for, but like you get a longer look at him without the other guards there. He jumped as a rookie. He jumped into the starting role without the starter there, so now he's the backup point guard.
Yeah.
Started under Rivers, started under Facu, and now he's like playing real and meaningful minutes. And now we're actually starting to see it with the starters. So he had to make his way up with the second unit and see how he had to create for everyone else. Now we're starting to see like the playmaking and the setting guys up and running the offense. So now we're starting to see a little bit more from him, and then the shot's still there. So now you're starting to see like a total package from him without him being like the guy that's like getting sought out every single time. So this is like a perfect timing for him, but also it opens up the rest of the Nuggets offense because you have to keep a body on him or he's going to knock down the 3 ball.
Right.
And you're starting to see it. It's not just the deep shots. It's not just the step backs. He's like setting up the offense and finding his rhythm. He also can create for himself, and also he can find the open man. So, like, I'm really impressed with him right now, and I think he's having his best stint, and it's coming with the starters. Right. For him to be getting that, like, those minutes is very meaningful for him, and also it's just only going to make him better and more confident when he goes back to the second unit. So this might be the best thing that's happening for the whole Nuggets, like, team right now is to see him get these type of minutes.
Yeah, he like, I love how he always brings the ball up with like at running at full speed. Like he just puts pressure on the defense every single time, and he's starting to do all of the other things on the floor with the same swag that we see his offensive game always have. Like he made a couple like crazy dishes where he got down low. Like there was like 3 or 4 passes that Lindsay and I were watching. We were just like, this is what happens when you play with Nikola Jokic. You just watch him like make these insane passes, and then you get it in your mind that you can also make these passes. Bones was facilitating. He shot the ball with no hesitation. He made mid-range shots, which is not generally part of his bag, but like looked super comfortable. And it's really just confidence with him. Like it's just feeling, like he belongs. I mean, obviously he's somebody that you can tell like confidence has never been lacking in his life, but like there's something different about feeling like you belong and feeling like you can dominate. Yeah. And so I think he's like starting to get to that place where the same level of swag that he played with in high school and in college or whatever is like starting to seep up a little bit. And I think you're right, Dev. Like this is going to be so valuable. It's going to pay dividends moving forward. Just getting this guy to be the best version of himself, which, by the way, is Dame Lillard. Okay.
There it was. You knew it was coming. I'm so curious to see if Monte Morris comes back for this last game. I kind of suspect he won't, giving a 4th opportunity. And if so, what a great opportunity for Bones to end this pre-All-Star break portion against Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. Like, the toughest matchup, you know? I think it would be a great opportunity for him. And I also think that he would come back from this break. You know, you play that game, you got 4 starts under your belt. You're going to go back to the bench, and you get 8 days off, which I think he needs as much as anybody, to be honest with you. Like, he needs this break as well. So I think that it could just provide a nice, I know it's not the midway point, but feels like a nice little stopping point of like, boom.
Yep.
You just finished playing your most minutes, most valuable minutes, you know, with the starters. I do wonder, though, Monte does come back, and eventually Jamal Murray, but Monte does come back, and then Bones goes to the second unit. Do you think that there will be some growing pains or disruption there, Eric, if like all these minutes have been coming with Jokic. Now he's going to be playing almost none with Jokic.
I don't think that what we've seen him do and his improvement is a result of playing with Jokic. Like, I think there's security in playing with Jokic, but it's not like he's just catching balls in the corner that Jokic is setting him up, and like he's making things happen on his own, right?
Yeah.
And Jokic is on the floor, and it's the fact that he'll be replacing Facu on the second unit, like, makes me feel like he can actually even do more with that second unit than he can with the first. So I just feel like it's with Bones. It's just him feeling like
Confident again,
getting right, feeling good, like
settled,
totally. And like, this has been the story with him all season. Like, he has his career high in points gets hurt.
right?
Takes 4 or 5 games to get back. Career high, it hurts. Gets COVID.
Right.
Doubles down on COVID.
Yeah, doubles down
just
on
stocks up on COVID.
Yeah.
And so his development has been super delayed. And so like now we're just seeing it. It's great.
The top human tonight goes for 26 points, 15 rebounds, 7 assists, although he shot just 10 of 26 from the field. And I got to say, man, I've said this every single time. Yoke looks so exhausted to me, and he missed so many bunnies tonight. I mean, just straight up bunnies around the rim. And Wendell Carter, I don't know, like this is 2 times now that he's kind of made Jokic work. So I don't know if that's a matchup thing or if it's just a Jokic fatigue thing. But this is another game where I look at it. He had his moments, man. Like, Jokic shot 9 threes tonight. He made 3 of them. And he had his moments where you're like, oh, yeah, he's putting this thing away. But 26, 15, and 7, kind of feel like it was a B- game for Jokic.
Yeah, it was cruise control from him. And also, I did not enjoy, like, jump shooting Jokic.
Man,
like, he shot a lot of threes and set on the perimeter a lot of the times, which, I mean, you kind of have to understand because we've been seeing a lot of post Jokic, but it's been the best Jokic. So, maybe he wanted to just switch it up, try new things, not be so bored. He's like, I'm tired of dominating down there. I'm going to see if I can do it from a different way. I really do feel like this was like a boredom game from him, and he's like just ready to get to the All-Star break, just to like settle down or just calm himself down and not just have that pressure. I think that it just getting to that All-Star break just gets their minds right to like recalibrate. And in this game, I just felt like he just was like kind of going through the motions. There was times that he knew he had to pick it up and he understood like, okay, they're getting closer. Let me, grab the next 6 rebounds. Let me try to get to the free throw line. Things like that. So I don't think this is like at all a good Jokic game, but for a guy to go out there and get 26, 15, and 7 on cruise control, like he salvaged his night in that second half, and it was just like, I'm going to take us home.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely was a cruise control night, and what did you need more from him? I mean, he did exactly what was called of
they
him,
won at the exact amount that they were supposed to, as said by Vegas. Like, this game went exactly how it was anticipated. Jokic just, especially in the first part of it, he missed 3 shots to start the game, and then he just kept shooting those threes, and he was like, I'm just gonna keep shooting till one goes in.
So he took 10 threes the other night against Boston, 9 against tonight. How many does he shoot against Golden State?
Hopefully 0. I hope he doesn't play.
You hope he doesn't play?
I wouldn't mind it, dude.
Takes the night off?
I mean, I don't know. He'll take...
You have to be on the show for that. I'm gone.
Oh, man.
You're hoping he doesn't play. What a great show that'll be.
I hadn't really done all the math on my bold proclamation and my wishes. You're right. No, I hope he takes 4.
I think it's not about how many you hope. I just think he's taking these because it's like, he's tired, man.
Yeah,
he's tired. He's taking the easy way out, and I don't blame him. Like, you just got to get to this All-Star break. I think we'll have a new man afterwards.
Newman.
I just ruined my notes here. Other guys that played tonight, Jeff Green, again, 17 points. Coming off of a 19-point game, he gets a 17-point game, 6 of 12. A little pep in Jeff Green's step.
The jump shooting uncle.
Doesn't have quite the same ring. Do you have any Jeff Green thoughts here? No?
I mean, yeah, 17 points. Like,
He was great.
You really do need your, starter to be aggressive in trying to score where it just takes pressure off of everyone else. I know that there's something to the fact of when he scores, like the offense probably is like at its best, or it's just humming because you can't, take off of him because he's going to go dunk it. You can't just let him sit there and shoot threes because he's like knocking them down, and you have to like trust it. So like him being aggressive and trying to get to his spots, like it just opens up the Nuggets to like a whole new dimension. And also he just works so well alongside Jokic because Jokic just knows how to like set him up for like there's not many spots in the league that Jeff Green can go and just get easy basket after easy basket. And now the second unit's starting to read those things like, hey, Jeff is going to cut, let's find him, and things like that. So he just brings a different dynamic when he's on the court because he is an aerial attack that can also like knock the three ball down. So he offers a little bit of everything.
Who's the least impressive team you've seen this year? Is it Detroit? I think it's Detroit for me.
It wasn't
Orlando
Detroit
was
because they
pretty
had
bad.
Cade. It was Orlando.
You think Orlando's the least impressive team you've seen?
Let me think.
I don't
I
know
think
who else would be in
Houston
the running.
sucks.
Actually, it's Houston.
Yeah.
Actually,
I
it's Houston.
hate Houston.
Yeah, it's Houston for sure. It's Houston.
I hate Houston.
It might be the Magic for me. That was not fun. There was not a guy I was like excited to see on their team or was
Gary
like
Harris.
rooting for. There was not a guy on their team.
Oh, what a hater!
Oh, you
Could you
still
say-
have no stock. No
Man,
Gary Harris
no
stock.
Gary Harris stock. So down so bad. Hey, Aaron Gordon's got to be so happy to be away from that. I'll bet Aaron Gordon tonight in that first quarter when he went to the bench, he was probably like, "Oh my God, thank God I'm not there anymore."
Well, in the first quarter, like Gary stole the ball from like 2 straight times. Gary kind of was like all over Aaron Gordon. I was like, oh,
Making
man,
a
this is
point.
I was like, this is
We
kind of
won
a
the
bad,
trade.
Yeah, dude, won the trade.
Aaron Gordon, 10 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. Honestly, I thought his game was pretty unimpressive overall. I mean, he just was. He needs this All-Star break. If we had to like rank who needs the All-Star break the most,
Number
Jokic?
1, DNVR Nuggets.
the NBR Nuggets. Number 2, Jokic. I think Michael Malone. You could easily make
Oh
a
my
case
God,
for like
dude.
he desperately needs a
Oh my
break.
God.
The
I
Dev
think
the
Aaron
individual.
Aaron Gordon's right there. Will Barton's right there. Like, I'm so hopeful that this Nuggets team comes back in 10 days and then from the break and they're just like dunking everything and jumping and reports are Murray's almost back. Like, the Nuggets need this break and a shot in the arm. Barton tonight, 17 points, 7 rebounds, 6 of 11 from the field. He had some moments tonight where you like, it was a classic Barton game. Like, I think overall pretty good. Had some really moments that made you really, really upset, but then he also had some plays that were like big time.
Yeah, when he stands out, he really does stand out, and when he doesn't, he's invisible out there. It's just kind of wild how that like goes. Like he'll get the ball for like 2-3 minute stints where he's just trying to score, and he has some really like impressive finishes around the rim. And then there's others where he's kind of forcing it, making bad passes that like are just floating out of bounds. Where you smack your lips like 3 or 4 times. Yeah,
Smack
that's
your
all
lips?
Yeah.
I don't think that's a noise I make out of disappointment. I'm like,
I'm usually like, fuck.
there you go.
But yeah, like he gives you a little bit of that every single time. But I mean, 17 points, like really everybody had it going offensively. That it makes it like really easy for like the offense to come or for guys to just be able to create because it provides that spacing, and then also he gets to like his spots. He gets inside of the paint and finishes in very, very awkward ways. So not a bad game from Barton, not a good game. It was just kind of middle of the pack, but you want him to score.
Exactly.
You want him to do those things.
It's the perfect Barton game.
Yeah.
Perfect Barton game. This is like where he is impactful. No one's mad at him. Beautiful.
We have codes with all of our partners, but there's one promo code that I think stands out amongst the pack. Do you know what it is? I'll go ahead and tell you. It's promo code DNVR for Lightshade, where you get 25% off your entire purchase.
Oh, I thought maybe the code itself, like there was one like
had
sexy
they cool,
DNVR.
yeah, sexy. No. DNVR, promo code DNVR at Lightshade Dispensary, our preferred dispensary here. You got 10 locations, soon to be 11. I think March 2nd is when that new 11th branch opens up. So you got them all over, no matter where you're at in the metro area. You've got a Lightshade nearby. Just open up your phone, Google Maps, and find out where they are. And then use that promo code 25% off. It makes everything so cheap, I'm telling you. It's the cheapest, the best deal that we have. And they have all kinds of stuff. So obviously, if you're looking for some flour or oil or wax or whatever, if you're into that kind of thing. But even if you are not, they have something called the Escape Artist. It's like a cream. That a THC CBD cream, and it's fantastic. Prioritize quality and consistency with ratios available 1-to-1 or higher ratios CBD 20-to-1. They go for like deep muscle tissue discomfort. They're non-greasy, non-staining, fast absorbing, and take effect in 10 minutes or less. And the benefits last up to 2 or 3 hours. So you're going to play a little racquetball. Maybe you're going to play a little racquetball. You got a little creaky knee.
Listen,
racquetball, underrated sport, man.
I'm a racquetball player.
Oh, I bet you are a good racquetball player, huh?
Have creaky knees.
Really? So there you go. Some escape artists is what you're looking for. And then they have it available in rose or cedar black pepper.
Oh,
not to be eaten, but to see. The aroma is fantastic here. So check them out. Lightshade Dispensary. March 1st is when that new one is opening up. You got convenient ones all around Denver Metro and Aurora. What else do we have today on the docket here? Oh, yes, the Colorado XOs. You guys know about the Colorado XOs?
I think they were the Raptors again.
I think they are the Raptors. For some reason they keep putting these in as the XOs in the ad read. Colorado rugby team has rebranded once again. They're said right in the ad. There it is. But this one is here to stay, so there's no more confusing this, Parker. Come on, get the ad reads right here. If you haven't heard, the American Raptors, they're Rugby Town, USA's newest rugby team. The Raptors are athletes who have competed at the highest level in their respective sports: football, basketball, baseball, wrestling, soccer, track and field. These athletes possess all the necessary skills to excel at the game of rugby. Which DNVR member do you think would be best convert to a rugby player?
Brandon Spano.
I think it's Brandon Spano. I was going to say.
No question.
I think Vote, maybe he's so small. There's always the small guy that like runs under people's legs.
Yeah, I don't love
one hit though. He'll probably be out.
I don't love Vote in that context.
Yeah, he's gonna really one hit. He's probably going down. Who would be the worst? The worst one?
Maybe Brendan.
There you go. I'm so excited. By the way, guys, you heard the news. Ryan Green, formerly of CBS, has joined us. It's very exciting. He's such a talented guy. He was on the pregame show. Such a talented just creator and video editor. And I really look forward to us doing some vlogs, which will include the Raptors. Like the Raptors do a really fun time. It's the same as like you go to a soccer game. We want to celebrate all Denver sports. The Raptors are a part of that, and we'll probably be doing some like tailgating. Just really, this is just like Saturday. We're going to drink out at a park, watching some guys play rugby while we drink and talk to each other. It's going to be great.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be really great. So check them out. And then, of course, my guy, Colton Strickler, who's got you covered on the DNVR Rugby podcast. Check all that out. Super chats, Cal, did we get any?
Yep.
Oh,
wow.
The homies.
The realest of the real. James. Shout out to Ryan Green joining DNVR. Fitting, because I learned about DNVR from his and Romy's report. Man, Romy also a goat. You guys, I'm telling you, the guy, we have so many things like up our sleeve.
Lots
Very
of
excited.
things.
So many things up our sleeves.
Look
at
the
this.
sleeves.
Look at
Full.
this. You can't even tell.
Full. My sleeves are full.
You thought this was just biceps, didn't you? But no.
I thought it was maybe like a tumor or something.
Tumor, yeah. That's how
just
impressive
like it's just like lumpy in a weird way.
Very lumpy biceps over here. What else do we have? Francisco says, numbers. Last 7 game starters got outscored by rival starters in 5-7. Bench 1 scoring against 6 teams of 7. They lost the Brooklyn game -2 in a blowout W. This is true. I don't sure if I read that correctly, but
last 7 game starters got outscored by rival starters in 5 out of 7.
Yes, but he's saying right now, the bench is starting to outscore opponents, I believe. So, I mean, that is the big deal. Look, the bench has been fantastic lately. It really is the difference. I'm telling you, so I always talk about, I think the All-Star break, to me, everybody's different, but to me, that's when I become interested in the MVP. People start doing it October, November.
After the All-Star breaks, when I get interested in the NBA.
No,
That's what you're gonna say.
in the MVP, like, people do the MVP discussion. I think it only like sets bad narratives, whatever. But as we're starting to approach, I'm starting to look at. I do the ESPN straw poll, which will be coming out at the end of the week. I always put it in there, and spoiler alert, I put Joker number 1. I really did, and I take it seriously, even though I don't have an official vote for this straw poll. I just want to like go through and look. Here's what I found. Jokic, when he is a negative, it's only happened 11 times this whole season that he has been a negative. The Nuggets are 1-10 in those games. Yeah. You go through Chris Paul, you go through Joel Embiid, you go through Giannis, you go through John Morant, Steph Curry, anybody you name, and their team, first of all, they're in the negative way more than 11 times. It's wild that Jokic has only been a negative 11 times. But then the team is like, they still win maybe 25, 30% of their game, 40% of the games even without him, especially if you're talking about the Warriors or whatever. So to me, when people talk about the record, the difference between the 76ers and Nuggets, for example, is 3 games. The 76ers won 4 games without Embiid in the lineup at all. Yeah. Like, think about that. Literally the difference is the games he didn't play, they won. Yeah. So I look at these things, and I did all of the metrics here, and there's these false markers, and one of them is team record. But when you really go deeper, it's like, hey, when he's on the court, they win. But now that you have a bench that maybe can sort of tilt that in their favor is very encouraging for what Denver might do to close this regular season. J-Rock says, Boogie Nights, baby.
Well, that make the shirt LOL.
Boogie Nights.
I can't see the rest of it. There it is. Make the shirt, Eric. LOL.
There's actually 3 rock stars.
3 rocks. Oh.
So you've done 4. You need to go bam, bam.
What do you do? Boop, boop.
Well, you need to show
2.
There's 2. There's a 3rd.
There's a 3rd one. There it is. We did it. J-Rock. And perfect timing. No sooner did we finish Super Chats than one Brendan Udonis vote checking in. Wow, you're not a big believer in getting the beautiful shot of the arena behind you, are you?
I had a chance to take a dressing room, and I took it, man. It gets all loud and chaotic in there. So.
Well, this looks really good. So from production value, fantastic. Can you
shoot us straight? Are you home? Did you go to the game?
This would be such a baller move. There he is. All right.
I'm at baller.
All right, he's at baller. It's like, what the hell, man? All right, take us inside the post-game presser vote.
Yeah, so Malone, I think, tried to split the middle today, guys. It was a win is a win, but also nothing about this was good or satisfactory for him.
Okay.
He ultimately said, I'm just glad the game is over and no one got hurt. There was nothing to be gained from that out there. But we won the game, and that was the most important thing.
Cool. Did he really say that's the most important thing? Because that's like Jokic's catchphrase.
I may have added that in my head, but that was the point he was making. He was less than thrilled. He pointed out that they had, I believe, 8 assists at halftime, guys. And he said, and no disrespect to the Orlando Magic. Brace yourselves for something very disrespectful. No disrespect to the Orlando Magic, but it's not exactly the steel curtain over there. And so that's not our brand of basketball.
Wow. Nuggets only 25 total assists tonight, and they had 22 turnovers. Like 22 turnovers. This is how bad the Magic are. If you have more than 15 turnovers, you win. You almost never win. They had 22 and easily won.
You're the playbook guy, Adam, but I don't know if you saw the new play the Magic drew up tonight called "Throw the Ball Out of Bounds."
Yeah, they did that a lot.
So that did bail the Nuggets out. So Malone did.
Can we see that on the list?
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
He did like what he saw from the bench, particularly DeMarcus Cousins, of course.
Yeah.
Whom we called a loud personality. And then he said he likes having that here. Reminds him of having IT in Denver. And then it dawned on him that he coached both of those guys at the same time. And that must have been a really loud experience. But he loved the way that Cousins played, the energy he brings, and also the way that JMyke and DeMarcus played together with each other, off of each other today. He felt like there was something to that. Then he also shouted each of them out as guys who are willing to set tough, hard screens. And then he said, with regards to Bryn Forbes, what a treat that must be, right, for a shooter to play with a guy who really is willing to get in there and spring the open. So he liked the way the bench played. He wasn't thrilled with the effort, and that's his message to his team going to Golden State is, hey, next time, how about we just try going out there, competing, playing hard, having fun, and we'll see where that takes us. But a reminder that the break starts on Thursday, not before the game on Wednesday. So,
all right. Well, there you go. Yeah, that is a good reminder.
Grumpy Malone, but it wasn't exactly. It was about the least satisfying 10-point win you could pick up. So I get it.
Okay.
We also spent some time talking to Bryn Forbes. He's a cool dude. He really seems to think that the Nuggets bench is getting it together, trending in the right direction. He really reiterated, he said, we literally don't know the plays. We don't know where to stand. We've never played with each other before.
Dope.
And I said, how much does the lack of practice time, obviously for every NBA team, but specifically for Denver this season, play into that? And he said, it's huge. He said, there's a lot of things that are being thrown into the fire right now. He says it's hard, for us, it's like, you can't just expect us to know how to do it, right? Throw us next to each other. But it is our job. And then he said, teams all over the NBA don't practice. You just don't. You're on the road or you're playing a game. So it's not just Denver, and that applies to everyone else as well. But he did stress that he's like, look, I've been on this team for less than a month. So we're all playing next to new guys every other day. So.
Do you think Jokic would be more dominant in a league in which you had fewer games but more practices, or in this one? Meaning, does Jokic benefit from this, or would he benefit more from more practice?
I think he would benefit from more practice. Not him personally, but
everyone else. Yeah, so true.
Like, they know where to be.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you nailed it. He'd be even more the MVP. Isn't that crazy?
He'd be the more. Go ahead, vote.
It's been that kind of show.
Bryn did say he agreed with Malone's point, by the way. He says he loves playing with JMyke and DeMarcus for that reason, that he thinks a lot of his shots really are assists to those guys, credit to those guys. And he was asked about DeMarcus Cousins being a loud personality, and he paused for a second, and then he laughed out loud, scratched his beard, and said, yeah, that is true. I think everyone knows that about DeMarcus, but he's a really great guy. He said the same thing that everyone else has. Malone also, I should say, pointed out that it really seems like teammates are rooting for DeMarcus. There was that standing O when DeMarcus checked out.
Yeah.
Jeff Green was on his feet pumping the crowd up. He
really?
wanted everyone to shower him with love. Yeah, so that was kind of an interesting note. And Bryn backed up what everyone else has said. He said he's a really great guy. Doesn't get enough credit for that. And then, of course, we spoke with the man himself, DeMarcus Cousins, who, first of all, he really likes playing with JMyke. He agreed. On the screen setting, he said it's a lost art. Just like entry passes, shit evolves. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But this new generation, for whatever reason, they just don't like setting screens. He agrees that the bench is starting to figure out how to play with each other. Things are starting to click. He said he knew when he got here that the second unit's been a big problem for this team. That was communicated to him. And he said, so I just tried to come in here and bring a new energy, just a new, whatever you want to call it, just something new, a new edge. And that's really what I've been focused on. I asked him if it's been tough on all these 10 days. Sometimes we seem like we know when the next one's coming, but it's not a full-time deal. Does he feel like he's a part of Denver, like he's fully here? And he reflected on that one a while, and he said, it was a real gut punch for him getting released by Milwaukee. He said he can't lie about that. That one hurt him, and he said he didn't really feel like he got a chance to get over it. And so that's something that's been on his mind, but he's just trying to focus on what he can do when he's between the lines and just focus on everything he told us.
That's cool.
He also we talked again about the narrative stuff a little bit, and then at one point he talked about Austin Rivers, who he called a great dude. And so I just followed up quick and said, he's another guy who's told us about narratives. Do you guys relate on that level at all? And he said, absolutely. He's another guy who's dealt with similar stuff, just people thinking they know who he is, know everything about him throughout his career. And then he said, I can't lie. When I used to play against Austin, I hated him. I couldn't stand him. But I'm the kind of person who meets people, makes impressions for myself. And Austin's a great guy too, he said. So an interesting talk with Boogie. And I think the theme of the night, guys, was really the big takeaway of the night is that the bench at least feels like they're trending in the right direction. And statistically, over the last 10 games, there's something to that.
Yeah. I got to say, man, one of the things is other teammates talking about liking Boogie and enjoying his presence. To me, it's like the biggest thing. Because that really is the biggest check. Like, is he going to come in and disrupt it? And if other guys are like, I'm enjoying being around him, to me, it's like he's probably going to be here for the season.
Well, he said, he was asked, Malone said, it seems like the guys are embracing you. Do you feel that? And he said, yes, but honestly, I felt that everywhere I've gone. It's never been the locker room. I've always gotten along with my teammates. It's up top, he said.
Interesting.
And then he shrugged and he said, maybe someday someone will appreciate what I bring to the table.
Oh, that's so sad. That's the kind of stuff I say when I'm feeling like
You do say that kind of stuff a lot.
You do
Yeah.
say
when
shit
I'm
like
like-
that a lot.
like
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I guess I'll put out a shirt. I don't know if anyone will care.
Oh.
And then then I just wait to see if anyone's looking, and then I'm like, I just don't know if I'm going to be appreciated enough.
Eric is like Kim Jong Un in his need, his how much he requires constant affection
don't
and
even
adoration.
follow it up. I'm just exactly like Kim Jong Un.
Just leave it open-ended.
In every way, really. Well, what else you got for us, Vote?
That's pretty much it, guys.
I love this shaky cam though. This has been a
I
great
know.
this is like
I know.
What is that one movie? The haunted movie in the woods.
Oh, the Blair Witch
The
Project?
Blair Witch
Blair
Project.
Witch Project.
Yeah, like wow, yeah, God.
Can you get snot to come out of your nose and tell us how scared you are right now?
Don't do
I'm
that.
gonna go home before my girlfriend breaks up with me. But I'll see you guys.
Adios, amigo. You guys want to bounce around the association ever so quickly?
No.
There you have it. We're gonna do it anyway. The
Let's go,
Jazz.
let's go, let's
the
go.
Utah Jazz beat the Rockets 135.
Beat the
Nobody
snot out of
cares.
them.
Although they have won like 7 in a row now, 7 or 8 in a row, something like that.
The
They're
Yaz?
back
The
to winning like
Jazz,
that
back
again?
to win. Well, they've played a lot of soft teams. They played an easy schedule, but that's how you bounce back sometimes.
They got Rudy Gobert back.
He got kicked out tonight, right? He got ejected, I believe, of this game, hilariously. The Pelicans beat up on the Raptors. Man, that Raptors win looking less good now.
The Pelicans is like a new team too, right?
They are.
they
Well,
got
CJ
CJ
McCollum, he went for
McCollum.
23, 4, and 5, which is just kind of like normal numbers. The Trailblazers beat the Bucks.
Yes.
The new look Trailblazer.
I
Josh
heard this-
Hart. Look at this. 27, 7, and 5.
Anthony Simons had 31. Yusuf
Man.
Nurkic had 23 and 16. What happened?
Dude,
What
they
happened over
smacked
here?
the Bucks. Who's out for the Bucks? Did all the Bucks play?
No, Giannis did not play.
Oh, Giannis didn't play.
No, so that doesn't really
Okay,
count.
then
That doesn't,
next.
keep it moving.
Of course it did
Next,
not.
next. The Chicago Bulls beat up on the San Antonio Spurs. DeMar DeRozan went for 40 again against
40.
his former team, the Spurs.
They showed that he has like the same record as like Wilt Chamberlain. It's like 35. His record is like 35 for like shooting 50% for like 4 games straight. And
Really?
only Wilt Chamberlain has been the only guy to do something like that.
Would you guys, honest question here, like we all like our guy Yoke, is DeMar DeRozan, should he be in the conversation for MVP?
Sure. Here's the conversation. Is he the MVP? Nope.
But honestly, do you feel the same way, Dev, that he's like not that caliber of player or deserve that conversation?
I think he has them like winning games.
They're the number 1 seed.
They're the number 1 seed, and it's because of him right now, and he's playing extremely well. I think that earlier in the season they were just trying to peg it for anybody over there.
Right.
He has like continued to be consistent, and he's scoring the basketball. He's also he has to be one of the most improved players in the league as well. Like I just feel like the rap around him wasn't that good, and now he's like one of the best in the league. So yes, I think he should be in the conversation.
Man.
Right, way down under Jokic.
Okay.
So like,
But honestly, like you compare him to, say, Chris Paul.
yep,
I
right
mean,
there.
He's right there with him. Steph
Right there.
Curry.
I think Curry's under them too.
Oh, wow. All right, there you go. The Thunder beat the Knicks. Giddey, the story. Another triple-double. This guy's a triple-double machine. 28 points, 11 rebounds, 12 assists. 28 points, I'm not going to lie, man. I've watched Giddey play. I have a hard time picturing him score 28 points.
I know.
He's just so slow too. And also, he really did not care about the Knicks and did not respect whoever was guarding him because he took 22 shots in the game. I feel like he never wants to shoot the ball ever. And he goes and scores 28 points with a triple-double. Like, somebody like was just getting done dirty.
Yeah.
Trey Mann had 30 points also in that game.
The Knicks are also just a fountain of sadness. Julius Randle had a triple-double, 30, 13, and 10. God, I hate Julius Randle. Really don't like his game. The Nets, the Brooklyn Nets, snapped their losing streak. They win 109-85 over the Sacramento Kings. The
Nice
Kings.
work, dude. What a win.
Hey, the Kings had won 2 in a row. They had new look DeMontis Sabonis Kings, but they dropped this one to the Brooklyn Nets, which is going to really hurt their play-in chances, man. Oof. Wizards beat the Pistons. Nobody cares about that game. Literally, nobody cares about it. That was around the association.
Wow. What a trip.
Cue that outro music. Thanks, everybody. Tomorrow we're going to be live at 2:30. If you want to catch us here on the interwebs, we'll be talking Nuggets, hanging out with you guys during your workday, so you could pull that up and pretend to be working, looking at your screen. So if your
Oh,
boss
yeah.
comes by, you have
Like,
spreadsheets
why
up.
are
But
you
really,
giggling uncontrollably?
you're like, I love spreadsheets. I just love spreadsheets. So we'll be live
I'm
tomorrow doing that
imitating
thing.
Eric.
I wish they would. They just don't appreciate me.
And once again, I am asking you to go on to your phone right now on your Apple Podcast, leave us a 5-star review and write us something nice in the reviews there. If you enjoy the show, if you don't, keep it to yourself. But if you do, leave a 5-star review. We're trying to get our score up. I think we're a 4.7 pod. I feel like we're a 5.0.
Dude,
I do, personally.
I feel like we're a 5.5.
We should be. That makes it sound though like we're bad. 5.5.
Yeah, it seems like that'd be at a 10.
Why is it that school though is like a 4.0 is the best grade?
Let's see. A, B, C, D.
I don't think that's it.
Those are the 4 that count.
And then F is
nothing.
Is 0.
Yep. So you get a 4 for an A.
Look at that. I solved it. Looks like I get it.
I really expected you to cut out
get a
during this
goddamn
segment.
A.
I just thought you were going to cut the camera. Well, you thought we were just going to keep going here. Like we're just...